So for those who maybe don't know a lot about you, Abraham, tell me a little bit about your background in general.
In general, I'm a Hispanic fighter, born in Puerto Rico with Dominican parents, migrated to the United States, and then I started boxing at the age of 12 here in Albany, New York, where I've been living and spending most of my time here. And then from Albany, from having a great amateur background in Albany, I turned professional and I started training in Boston, Massachusetts to pursue my professional career. And now I'm a 19-0 undefeated fighter.
Great. And your last fight, where you got the 19th victory against a unanimous decision against Avery Sparrow, that was a late replacement for that fight. It was about on 3 weeks' notice, the original opponent being Tocha Conclery. How much of a difficulty was the last-minute opponent change for you?
Not just the last opponent, but the whole process of training prior to that. It was tough getting sparring, because nobody wanted to get any contact, stay in contact with people, start, and all the gyms were closed. So it was very tough, trying to get in shape just by running and hitting the mitts. So it was very difficult. And then prior to your question, to changing from Toka Khan to Avery Sparrow, yeah, it was a bit difficult because we had a strategy going for a southpaw, and then we have to switch it all up to a slick, silky fighter who moves around and doesn't want to engage. So it was a bit uncomfortable, but that's what comes with the game. We have to learn how to adapt and adjust as it comes. So that's exactly what we did when it came to that night. We adjusted and we was able to win and do our best.
Yeah, and maybe talking about the fight in general, having watched it back, Sparrow seemed to have success early, and then you seem to take over and dominate the later rounds. What adjustments, if you think that's a fair statement by myself, then what adjustments did you make throughout the fight to win them later rounds and secure the victory?
To be honest, I feel like I was winning the whole fight. I feel like I think it's a big difference watching it from TV and watching it in person. If you pay very close attention in the fights in the early rounds, he was being seemed like he was more active, but no effective punch was landing. If you see it, I was landing effective jabs, accepted right hands to the body. Everything I was doing was landing. I wasn't throwing as much, but I was landing. My percentage was a lot higher than his because he wasn't landing. He was just busy as in throwing the punches in the air. The only round I could say I lost was the 5th round. And then that's when my coach said, if we lose one more round, we have to step it up. But other than that, I feel like we was winning the whole fight. That's why I wasn't surprised with the scorecards with the 99-91. I was a bit surprised with the 96-94. If you go back and see the video, you'll see me make a face remark like that's weird. Like, what's up with that score? But other than that, I really feel like I dominated. And the difference from the first round for the first half of the fight and second half of the fight was that timing. I was timing him for a good shot to catch him, and I caught him, and then I got a bit more I could say a bit more adrenaline, more energy to go and get him. It's a bit tough not having a crowd there to cheer you on and tell you to go get him, rather than you got to do your own thing. So that's mostly what I could say about that fight. I felt like I was dominating that whole fight, and then there was nothing you could see. I was never in danger. There was nothing he hit me flush. If you see, I landed all the clean punches. People just get aroused and they get caught up with the commentating of what they seeing because they watching the same thing, and then they just get caught up. And if they really pay attention on what's happening in the fight, as he's not landing nothing and I'm landing all the big shots. Yes, I'm not as busy as he is, but I am landing the effective shots.
Yeah, there is often a benefit to watching fight without any commentary, isn't there? You seem to get sometimes you seem to get a much different watching without a narrative from the commentators, as you say.
Indeed. And they're not there live. They're doing the same thing. At that time, they was there watching it from their computer, from at home commentating. So they're seeing exactly what you're seeing, but they're being a bit. I felt like they were being a bit biased because he's more known than I was. They knew him a lot better. I know Andre Ward knows him and his trainer, and they get along very well. And Timothy Bradley, he has had very high expectations for me. And then if everybody knew, if you know me and know the style that I fight, I don't typically fight that style.
Yeah,
I'm an aggressive, get and destroy. But this whole COVID situation, we had to change up our gameplay and change up our style, just because we know we didn't have the stamina and the resistance to fight that style for 10 rounds. So we have to switch it around and pick them apart. And I also had a game plan with my coach, and my coach didn't want me to go and get him, because he knew the conditioning that I brought. He knew how late my training camp was, and to get ready for that preparation. So there's a lot of things coming into that fight that people don't understand. If you know me and know my fighting style and been following me my whole career, you would know that I'm a seek and destroy fighter. I'm not scared of no man, and I go in there and try to get my opponent out. But things happened that night, circumstances happened that night where I wasn't able to get that done, but I was able to still get the victory, and that was the most important thing.
Yeah, I think the other thing is I'd just like to touch on as well is this fight we're talking about was in June. Now, I haven't spoke to some fighters who are maybe fight for the last few weeks or are fighting this weekend. They mention how the COVID restrictions don't really hurt them as much. Yours was as we were really just coming out of it. So them things you're talking about sparring partners, about preparation, they must have really been affected for your fight.
Yes, very, very effective for me. It was so effective because I feel like we was hitting the prime of it. Like it went from no fights happening to me thinking I'm gonna be on being home the whole time to, like, I don't know. Oh, we got fights going on. Let's start training. Find sparring partner. Find this. Find that. It was everything was very unexpected, But like I said, we got it done. We made it happen, and on to the next.
Yeah, and speaking about on to the next, that would be my next question. Do you have a time frame for when you want to get back into the ring?
I would like to get back in the ring sometime in 2021.
Yeah.
I want to get back. I want to get back in there. I know there's a lot of things going on. They saying they're not sure what's going to happen till 21 with the COVID. There's a lot of situations going on, but as my team knows, and I know that I'm always ready, willing to get in there and fight. So we're just waiting.
Yeah, and maybe another thing we can touch on. I know that you are a sparring partner, or you have sparred with now lightweight champion Teofimo Lopez. How much of a benefit is that for you? And does his size and his strength being a bigger fighter, does that help you at all in terms of your preparation for opponents?
Of course, big shout out to my boy Teofimo Lopez. We sparred countless of times. They brought me in, and to Vegas. They brought me in Jersey. We got thousands of rounds of work. He's a big puncher. He has great speed and great timing. He's helped me out a lot, in there, and I vice versa. I've helped him out a lot in there. He has a lot of respect for me. The way I said, I have a lot of respect for him. Yes, I could say he has helped me a lot, not just in the ring, but outside the ring, with his exposure and everybody knowing who he is. I created a big fan base, because everybody like, wow, Teofimo's the undisputed lightweight champion of the world, and Supernova was in there, helping him get ready for all his bouts. So that shows, the caliber fighter that I am, and the skill set that I bring, that I could, be in the ring, not just with a bigger fighter, but, handle my own with Teofimo Lopez. So a lot of I got a lot of respect from a lot of fighters and a lot of media because of the sparring sessions we had. So it's a win-win, I guess, for both of us.
Yeah. Now, talking about moving back to yourself, you are the current WBA-NABA champion, and you are ranked 5th by the WBA and 7th by the WBO in the super-featherweight division. How fast do you want to move into them bigger fights, or even the title picture, as it were?
Right away. I'm like I said, I'm just waiting. I know the call's gonna come any moment. So Top Ring, my management, they is waiting on that call. There's no date, but it's soon to come. we was looking at to get something with at least with Vinny Alvarado, the WBA World Champion, or Jamal Herring. But if it doesn't come, someone's gonna come at least in the top 5 or top 10, and we're just waiting for that call. There's no rush. I'm still young. I'm strong. 26 years old. I stay in the gym. I stay active. So just when that call comes, I will be ready to fight for the world title, or to fight for the eliminator.
Yeah, I heard a quote from you last year, 2019, saying that 2020 was going to be your year. Now, I don't think 2020 has been anyone's year. Maybe people who make masks might have been 2020's year for them, but certainly not for the majority of us. Is it safe to say 2021 will be your year instead?
2021, I would say will be a good year, but I say 2022 will be the best year. I feel like just because the boxing is not moving at the pace that it used to move, at a faster pace, everything's a bit slower now with this whole COVID and the procedure and COVID, people catching and fights falling off. I feel like 2021 is going to be an okay year. But 2022, I feel like that's going to be the year that I make my mark, that I'll become world champion. Of course, I want it to be in 2021, but I'm playing it safe. I'm understanding the situation and circumstances that are happening now in this era, in this time of frame of life, how everything is happening. So I'm not gonna get my hopes too high, but my hopes are still there. But I'm pretty sure the way things look in 2022 is gonna be the year, and also because 22 is my favorite number.
Now, let's talk about the super featherweight division. We have big names there. We have Gervonta Davis, we have Oscar Valdez, Jamal Herring, as you've mentioned, even someone from our side of the pond, Carl Frampton. Out of all the super featherweights, excluding yourself, who do you think is the best?
Of course, I am. But who's the best? To be honest, I can't give you an answer to that. I would have to get in there and see who faced the biggest threat. As we all know, as fighters, experts, style makes fight. So I can't really tell. I could say who has a great resume. It will be Carl Frampton, just 3-time world champion. So he has the best resume, but we can't say he's the best because he still hasn't been tested in the 130-pound division. Jamal Herring, he's a great champion. His story of his coming back, and becoming a world champion is great. We also got Miguel Burchell, who's like a six-time. He defended his title 6 times, 7 times. So there's a lot of great things these champions are doing. But to say that which one is better, it's tough to say. I have to get in there and find out.
Now, I couldn't finish this interview without asking you about your beard. I know that the orange tint is to do with the Puerto Rican baseball team in 2017. It was I believe it was a show of unity for the country.
Yes, indeed.
And you've followed that tradition. Now, were you going to keep that tint throughout the entirety of your career to continue that unity, or is there a chance we could see you without the tint at some point?
So it's blind. And of course, you're gonna that's how that it started off for them, but then it became my my look. It became my significant look. So it's gonna stay around my whole career. People know who I am because of that beard. I get a lot of more buzz, and people tend to remember who Supernova is. So and I like the look. I like the look. I like the effectiveness it brings, the energy that it brings. So hey, I'm gonna rock with it, and you will see that for the rest of my career. We're going blind, we're going gold the whole way. So you can expect that look for a very long time.
Great. How can people find you on social media?
You can find me on all my social media platforms in Twitter, Instagram at Abraham Nova 22. And you can find me on Facebook at Supernova TV.
And before we end this interview, is there anything you'd like to say?
I would like to say, thank you to all my fans and all my supporters for this, for rooting for me, for supporting me throughout my career and what's coming. I fight for me, I fight for y'all, I fight for my family. and I'm here to bring the best fights and show y'all why I'm the best fighter and the planet.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, thanks very much for your time today, Abraham. It was an honor. It really was.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it, and thanks for the interview. You know, you're a great guy, and hopefully we could do this again.